guys. Thanks for joining me again for episode 7. You know, I talked a lot about my story in videos 1 through 6, but I kind of wanted to give a general outline of what steps I took that brought me where I'm at today, because, you know, the path changed everything. And here's the path that I walked, and the breadcrumbs that I almost missed. The breadcrumbs, y'all. How 1,000 tiny moments, you know, led to one life-changing day. I'm not telling you what to believe, okay? I'm simply sharing the steps that I took that changed my life, one day at a time. And maybe you've experienced some of these too, or maybe this, you know, is the beginning of your own path. But people often ask me, you know, Cindy, what happened on June 2nd? And the truth is, June 2nd wasn't the beginning. It was the result, y'all. And looking back, I can finally see the breakdowns, the breakdown of the breadcrumbs that brought me to this point. And, you know, I look back, and the first step was like the first part of this year, 2026, February, I'd say end of January, February. You know, I was on fire for Jesus. I mean, I'm in church and I'm singing as loud as I can, y'all. Nobody wanted to stand next to me because I definitely was not in tune, out of tune, or maybe I wasn't. I don't know. All I know is that my passion for Jesus was elevated, and I sang with my whole heart because I'd get bolts of lights, just rings of light. So when I'd leave church, headed to work, I would still carry that, not with the radio or anything. I would just recall what was in service, and I just continued singing to Jesus. And I mean, I was just feeling that elevation through that process. And then I switched over to frequency music. I just started getting curious about what was going on in my head. And something led me to frequency music. I never even looked at YouTube. True story. I'm not that girl. And all of a sudden, I stumbled on YouTube, and I stumbled on frequency music. Started playing it. And that led to full day at work listening to it nonstop. Guys, after that, I'm doing high kicks around my office. True story. If anybody walked in, they think I'm batshit crazy. I am doing full-on blown high kicks without being exhausted. I don't know how, but again, something started happening, and my body just was responding differently. My mind was thinking differently. My body was responding differently. And then after that came, in February, Lent. And I'm not a practicing Catholic, but for some reason this year I thought, well, why not? You love Jesus, let's honor him as in every capacity possible. So guys, I make my commitment. I studied Lent practice, and I was full on 40 days. I made a commitment to give up certain foods. And now, you know, I cleaned more than my plate. I cleaned the way I start eating. I gave up food that no longer served me, that didn't bring vitality to me. You know, that clean eating, I just incorporated. I had less noise, and I had more clarity. Then, all from, I believe, was frequency music. You know, my body just started feeling different. And then, y'all, nature started talking to me. I mean, I had birds and cats, you know, that were just showing up. I had an albino deer at the end of my path that helped me choose the direction I was going. True story. And I had 4 large beetles showing up on my front porch and my back porch, knocking, like they were physically knocking on my door. Big beetles. It wasn't even June, so it wasn't like June bug season or whatever. Then, you know, started seeing floating feathers. Didn't even know the significance of what a floating feather was. You know, dragonflies, butterflies just surrounded me. I honestly felt like Snow White when I would go on a walk. I tell my kids, guys, I feel like I should just start singing, because I feel like Snow White. There was just so much nature wrapping itself around me. The wind, it just felt beautiful. And, you know, the synchronicities were everywhere. The moon became my calendar, y'all. And when I say that, I mean, I'm following moon cycles. I'm meditating, learning how to improve my meditation practices, and journaling. I think I have stacks of written stories that was occurring in my life. And, you know, my dreams were just so vivid that I could write them in complete accuracy the next morning. I tell my family, and they'd be like, okay, you know, again, nobody's going through this step with me. Nobody's going through this experience with me, so they don't fully understand. But my excitement is just like, whoa, pouncing out of me. And, you know, I'm seeing repeating numbers like you wouldn't believe. And I've heard of all this in the past, but I didn't know it would occur to me. And the shadow work just became pretty easy. I just started, well, that's not right. It was not easy. The shadow work was getting honest with myself, becoming honest, forgiving myself. I had to forgive myself, y'all. I've always been a kind person. And like I said, I've learned to give forgiveness for a lot of people who never gave it back to me. But, you know, I had to dig deep into that internal soil and pull up those weeds of childhood wounds and abandonment, just letting go of all the old stories that I thought I could just bury. And I could move on through my day with no issue. No. That's not how it works. You have to pull them out. You have to face them. You have to look them square in the eye and remove them. And once you do, you start to feel a little lighter, a little more free. And, you know, learning just to love every version of myself. You know, even, like I said, what I started this with was the old cellulite. I just looked at her and was like, you've been with me the longest. You are my BFF. And I've run with that. But, you know, just trust and less fear and more peace and following intuition instead of panic, y'all. I mean, allowing instead of forcing is how I started to approach life. June 2nd, you know, everything came together. And what looked like an extraordinary evening it was actually an accumulation of months of inner work. You know, today I don't chase signs anymore. I don't need proof. I simply know my journey, it didn't teach me to find something outside of myself. It taught me to trust what was always, that has always lived within me. You know, even the confusing ones. just trust. I mean, everything was preparing me for a deeper relationship with myself, with God, with love. You know, and looking back, I realized my life didn't change in a single moment. It changed one choice at a time. And that's what I'm trying to get across, y'all. It's one decision. It's one meal change. It's one prayer. It's one quiet morning for yourself. It's one act of forgiveness and an act of kindness. You know, it's just one step towards love. And realizing how far I had already come, that is what brought my angels in. Life's little steps, y'all. I mean, are y'all ready for the dance? You'll feel amazing. Take the step. It does not need to be perfect. None of us are perfect. God doesn't want it to be perfect. He wants to see the step. You have to take the step. You know, I don't know if any of this is reaching you guys. And I know, you know, I've been in hermit mode for about 4.5, 5 months now. It may seem like a tall order for some of you. But I'm going to tell you, you're worth it. You're damn straight worth it. I'd get busy. I waited 50 years. Don't wait 50 years. Y'all are worth it. But for now, you guys, protect those pretties and let your love lead. And if these videos are reaching you or touching you, just give it a quick like. Leave me a comment, a message. I promise I'll reply. Y'all take care now. I love you guys.